So we're recording and now I'm going live to Facebook, hopefully.
I'm just keeping an eye on your page.
You keep a wee eye on my Facebook page and tell me when it comes up. To anybody who's watching us in the recording, this is us connecting to Facebook for the very first time. And it's all very exciting. It takes a few moments just for the Zoom feed to connect to the Facebook Live, and that's what we're waiting on now. We'll have to click some buttons and
cross some
fingers. Put a wee title, Monday Night Conversation. We are, I think, ready to go live, or go live on Facebook. So I'm going to hit that button. Kel, if you shout out when you see it.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're live, I think.
It's coming up here, but it's not showing on your Facebook page yet, just.
Okay, so we will work on the, yes, I can see it as well.
Yeah,
so we are live. We're live on Facebook, everybody. First of all, thank you, anybody who's joined us already, anybody that joins us through the course of the video, anybody that watches this back on record. My name is Martin Gilchrist, and I am here from Gilchrist & Co. Chartered Accountants. This is Monday Night Business Conversations. What is Monday Night Business Conversations? It's an opportunity for me to have conversations with business people, the type of business people that you may well bump into at networking events in Northern Ireland. It's not supposed to be too formal. You may notice we don't have fancy graphics. There's no background music. There's no green screens with sunny beaches and palm trees. The whole value of this comes from the conversation. So I am very much indeed looking forward to the conversation tonight, because it is on one of my favorite conversations of all, social media. The amazing world of social media. And there's no two better guys that I know of to talk to us about that interesting subject than the young men that are with us here tonight, Kel Dixon and Adrian Harrison. So without further ado, what I would like the fellas to do, I'm a poet and I didn't even know it, is to introduce themselves. Introduce themselves as people first, and then we will look at what they do as professionals. So Adrian, if you can tell us who you are. Who is Adrian Harrison, the man?
$1 million question, that one. I'm 38 years old, live in Belfast, spent the last, you raised the eyebrows there, Martin, a bit? The grey hair, you have me?
No, I didn't.
You have me a few years ahead, did you? Say nothing.
Say nothing.
Say nothing. Yes, so I've been I was in the wonderful world of advertising sales for the last 14 years, and bumped into this man, Kel, at a digital marketing course sort of towards the end of last year, and we're taking the social media world by storm, or trying to.
Are you a sportsman, a family man, a footballer, what do you do when you're not working?
King golfer.
Oh, very
King
good.
Golfer. So play up at my own golf club, fairly badly at the minute.
Mm-hmm.
But be keen enough now in the golf. Played rugby back, it seems like a long time ago now.
Mm-hmm. Very good. So a rugby and a golf player. That's an eclectic mix. I imagine the golf is a lot easier on your knees than the rugby used to be.
Yeah. Do you know what, Dad and I were in this conversation? I don't think like the rugby mentality translates onto the golf course that well. Truth be told, you're meant to be relaxed and patient and not bad tempered and all that sort of stuff. when you get on a golf course, and it just wouldn't be me, Martin, to be honest.
Yeah, I maybe will not delve.
Minute, you know.
Yeah, I'll maybe not delve any further into how that conversation came up on the golf course, but we can all paint our own picture of how that might have happened. Mr. Kel Dixon, how are you doing?
Yeah, so I'm just slightly younger than Adrian. I'm only 27, so.
Your wee smug 27-year-old face.
I'm also known as the owner of the famous dog Barnaby. He has a good following on Facebook. We get paid to do videos with him. So when I'm not making videos with Barnaby, I try and play football. So I play football. Before this all kicked off, we were playing football. I was training twice a week, playing on Saturdays. So football's almost like a way to kind of, get away from business life. You can put your phone down. Otherwise, I'm kind of surgically attached to my phone. So it's kind of good to get away from the business life and be able to play football and just kind of run around with everyone.
If in the fantasy world, I came to you and I said, Kel, I will pay you to do whatever you want, anywhere in the world, with anybody you want for a week, what would you do? You don't get the cash, you just get everything paid for you. What would you do for a week if you could do anything?
I would literally just play football.
Wow.
That's all I would do, yeah. Just get all my mates together and just play football down the park,
Wow.
Just like when you were younger, like when we were younger, I didn't own a PlayStation or anything until I was like 16, 17. We just went outside and played football. I would have left the house 12 o'clock in the morning, wouldn't came back till 8 o'clock at night, We just played football all the time.
So that genuinely is your passion. That's interesting now that you're given anything to do. And it's such an easy passion. You're able to do that. So you must be a very happy young man, just be able to live your dream every day.
I'm not so good at the football. I'm not as good as I used to be, but I would say I'm average at best.
Very good. So now let's look at the professional aspect of who you are. So what is it that you actually do? What's your educational background? What's your experience background? And what brought you to where you are now in your career? And I think, Adrian, if we go to you first, what would you describe your profession as? What is your skill set, and how did you arrive at where you are now? How did you get those skills?
I studied management. Use the term study loosely, but I did a degree in management and marketing in Edinburgh, and then fell into sales really when I came back home and worked for a couple of the gyms, sort of increasing membership in sales and outreach corporate activities there, and then worked with the media the last sort of 14 years doing advertising sales. Really started off as print form as it was when the papers were still fairly popular and dealing in the job market, and then obviously the company went digital probably 6-7 years ago, so worked in a range of different online web products, different industries really, obviously job and construction, and dealing with a wide range of clients really, and so predominantly sales really.
Edinburgh University. My young fella's
Harriet Watt University in Edinburgh. So
all right, very good.
On the outskirts of Edinburgh.
Yeah, I see. I know my young fella's 19 now, so he's in his first year of university. He goes to Jordanstown. He's doing accountancy, unsurprisingly. I think he has an eye to take over the practice, and certainly can take it over the better as far as I'm concerned. But a lot of his friends and his group that he knew from primary school, at least 5 of them have gone to Edinburgh University. I'm not sure if any of them went to Harriet, but it seems to be the place to go. And I've visited Edinburgh a couple of times. Lovely spot. Very, very good.
Very good. Yeah.
What about you, Kel? How did you get to be the owner of your own social media business?
So even I'm sure everyone knows, I like one of those people, but I was always one of those people in school that would have sold stuff, like sold sweets, sold drinks in school. Jamie Oliver actually made me a fortune because he took away the vending machines, which opened up a whole new revenue stream for me. So I always had kind of like a keen eye for business. And when I was 16, I was selling like dog jumpers. So I was selling Adidas dog jumpers, and I was making that much money from it that Adidas actually threatened to sue me. And then 5 years later, I was actually doing a presentation in front of Adidas, so it went full circle. So I was always interested in business, and I wanted to always like to be creative. I'd like, design and stuff as well as, doing strategy and things. So I did creative advertising up in McGee, in Derry/Londonderry, whatever your preference may be. And I just really enjoyed it. It gave me a scope, so I was able to learn video design and also like the marketing strategies behind everything. And then luckily, when I left uni, I just started applying for anything and everything just to try and get, experience. And luckily, basically straight out of uni, that August, I landed what was then my dream job. So I started working for the IFA, working within the football industry. I was a content producer, so I got in to help them do all the strategy and things, and then went to the Euros for them. So that was massive, being able to getting paid to go watch your country play in one of the biggest sporting tournaments in the world was amazing. And then I kind of felt like I wanted to work on bigger projects or work on more projects than just football. So I went and joined an agency up in Belfast, and then I was, learning what I could learn from them, and, realizing that, I might be able to actually do this by myself. So I took the leap 2 years ago now, just over 2 years, nearly, yeah. And I've never looked back, and I can, networking's been a massive part into me getting clients and things. It's always been word of mouth. I know you know the strength of marketing or networking yourself, Martin. So it's been huge for me, and it's something that you've helped me with as well, inviting me to meals and inviting me to networking meetings, things. It's
a lot of it's been my fault.
It's all your fault. Yeah.
While we're talking here, and before we go on to the next question, thanks very much, Cal, for that insight on what made you the profession you are and the successful business you have. There's a couple of friends of mine have joined the page, and I would say they're also sales professionals and internet online marketing professionals. You may well know them. Kenny Galloway, do you know Kenny? Cal?
He added me on LinkedIn there after you posted, so I know him to see, but I wouldn't know him personally.
Kenny's a lovely fella. He had a very successful event just last year down in Riverhouse before this whole COVID came down, and he runs a group called Sales Haven, which is a group for and made up of sales people, so people who are involved in the sales environment, and providing support, mutual collaboration opportunities, training, and all that good stuff. So I would definitely recommend catching up with Kel after this. If he sent you through a wee link, he would be an interesting person to have a conversation with. He says, "Good evening, chaps," and he also says, "The accidental salesman, always the way." I think that might have been talking about how you got into business. And we also have David Henderson from David Henderson Design up in Kilkeel. He also has a table or facilities down in the FinTech offices in Danske Bank. So he's growing and expanding. I've known David literally since he was left university and started his business. Again, a great guy. You'll see his comments coming through in the feed, and I would highly recommend that you connect up with him afterwards. Also, Ian Sayers, I see, is on this evening. How you doing, Ian? Make sure to say hello. Ian Sayers, I knew from my time many years ago when I used to have spare time. I was elected. There was a wee election campaign, and I was elected to the steering committee of a group called Digital Circle, which was the representative body for small digital businesses in Northern Ireland, headed up by Mary McCann, and facilitated by Matt Johnson. And on the steering group with me was Ian Sayers, another a lovely person. So there's lots of nice people joining us this evening. So Cal, I'm going to direct this question at you first because it relates to something that you started. And then I'm going to ask Adrian, because Adrian has come on board. and to get his view as a new joiner of what Big Giraffe is. And the question is, what is Big Giraffe?
Yeah, so the Big Giraffe, it started off as a nickname for me. So anyone that knows me, I'm very tall. Some would say freakishly tall, but I think that's just a wee bit mean. So it kind of just, the name spurned from there, and I kind of wanted my business to be a wee bit unique, a wee bit like me. And that's why I kind of chose the name. It's a wee bit fun. You know, I don't want to be too serious. I'm not, anyone that knows me knows I'm not a serious person. And I think the content I produce and things kind of echoes that as well. And we're just really, we kind of started off as a social media management agency, but we've kind of adapted, because what I found was when we went to talk about social media management, we were also sorting out a lot more issues than just social media. You know, we were sorting out branding, we were sorting out sites, sometimes we were sorting out pricing, financing, and, you know, you kind of just learn to adapt with these things. So we started off as a social media management agency, and that is still our core offer, and that's still what, you know, we're all about. But we've also, you know, we kind of help businesses from the ground up. You know, we almost start them from zero and help them create a whole new brand within themselves, which is another part of things that I enjoy, because I like working with numbers and things. So being able to kind of scale the numbers and, you know, work with branding and be creative, like we said before. So we kind of do everything.
Now, this is a little bit unfair, and if the answer is no, just say no. But we were talking before we came on live here about a really big success that you've had recently with a client. Are you able to talk about that without naming the client, or maybe you can?
Yeah, we can definitely talk about it without. I don't know if we could. I wouldn't name her, but we can still talk about it.
Yeah. So tell me about that, or tell the viewers about how successful a good social media campaign can be for a small business.
So yeah, so this she runs a beauty school. So she teaches people how to do the likes of nails, eyebrows, eyelashes, none of which I'm interested in, of course. But it was easy. So we joined her in November, I think. So she was doing face-to-face training, and I noticed there was a gap in the market really for online training, especially good online training. So from November, we were shooting her recordings. So we were shooting all her training, making sure it was all set properly. And bear in mind, she had like 30 courses, each hours long. So this was a long process. So it wasn't something that we just flicked on overnight. And then once we kind of had it all set up and we were about to launch, and just as we were about to launch, Corona happened, you know. So everyone went into lockdown. We were hemming and hawing if people would still have the money to spend. And we redesigned her website to be optimized for sales. And literally as soon as we hit go, the sales just started flooding in. We designed like a advertising campaign for her, and we set email campaigns, completely readjusted her social media to suit the new online trends and the new online marketing. And in the first month we made £40,000. Last month we just made just shy over £60,000, and this month we should hit around 80 to 100,000 depending on the final 15 days.
This is teaching people how to put on makeup on video.
Well, teaching how to do makeup, you know, waxing the eyebrows, putting eyelashes on and things. It worked really well. It was just, the whole concept was just tied hand in hand, you know, like we did everything just tied in well together. We made sure all the branding was exactly the same. All the email campaigns worked really well. Everything just worked really well.
Why do you not just do that for the rest of your lives? Help beauticians make videos how to do nails. You'd be billionaires.
Yeah, it's a dream. It's a dream.
Okay.
We're kind of, you know, we're trying to see what we're doing next, you know. So we work with everyone. We've worked with real estate, we've worked with furniture stores, we've worked with you know, beauticians, as we said, we've worked with sporting events. So we've got a broad range of who we work with, and we've always been successful. We've won multiple awards, you know. We always try and work with the best and try and get the best results for everyone.
You've won multiple awards. We're going to come back to that. Okay, that's another bell ringer that you've just dropped into the party there. So we'll come back to that. But I want to ask Adrian. Adrian, you're new to the Big Giraffe. Is that fair to say?
That's correct.
So with a fresh pair of eyes, what would you describe the Big Giraffe as? What is it as a business?
Yeah, as Cal alluded to, first and foremost, social media experts. I think what appealed to me was from working in general advertising for so long. It's the advertising was something that wasn't really tangible. Companies were spending money, and gradually you were just hearing the same thing time and time again, and they were just saying, we don't know what we're getting back. We don't know if this is working. We can't see any results. And ever since sort of doing the digital marketing module, and obviously there's a lot within digital marketing in terms of Google ads and SEO and web design and everything else. Kel's module that he did at the time on Facebook was very, very impressive because Facebook's just unbelievable for what it can do for companies. I mean, the way the metrics that it works on with your return on ad spend is basically just has in black and white how well a campaign works, and it's just there that a company can look at it and go, for every pound I get 3, 4, 5, 10 pound, whatever that is back, and you just scale up. I mean, obviously there's a lot of work involved in the branding and putting together campaigns and testing ads and all the rest of it. There's a huge amount of work, but when you put in a lot of the work and you can scale the winning campaigns, as Cal alluded to, the companies can make phenomenal amounts of money. I mean, what you can transform businesses really if you know what you're doing. I mean, obviously, Cal's been trained by Facebook, so you can't get anyone better. But if you know what you're doing, and it's a lot harder than what people think. A lot of businesses think that they can just go in and start doing Facebook and start doing social media, but there's a lot of work involved in it, and they quite quickly realize that to do it right and get results, you need the experts, So
yeah. So the big giraffe is the experts. You're going to use social media, and you're going to use it for business, and you want to sell £80,000 worth of nail videos.
Eyelashes and everything.
Very good. Cal, before we move on to the next question, one of the stories that fascinates me is I can't remember. I remember. I haven't remembered this story possibly. So you're going to have to correct me on a couple of things here. I think it was TikTok, and I think it was your dog Benji. What do you call your wee dog?
Barnaby. Yeah.
And the number of views that you're getting of your dog Barnaby on TikTok. Have I got any of that right? So I didn't get the dog's name right. Have I got the platform right? Was it TikTok?
You got the platform right, yeah. So it was.
Tell me the TikTok Barnaby story. Tell everybody that story. Remind me of it so I can tell it properly the next time.
So basically, everyone remembers Vine. TikTok is basically updated Vine, but I was really into Vine when I was in just starting university, I think, and then it died down. TikTok's exactly the same, but I find TikTok's very creative. Sometimes you're scrolling through the feed, you see something, and you're amazed how people think of this content. So I kind of just wanted to do like a wee tester project to see how far I could go with it. I've done the same. So like Facebook, I've grown pages to 50,000 likes. Instagram, grown pages to 50,000 likes. I just like to test the metrics and see how easy it is to grow certain pages. And with TikTok, I kind of just had fun with it, just because obviously Barnaby was involved, so we were able to do like really fun videos and things. So we're actually getting paid now to do videos. So companies are reaching out to us to pay us to do videos for certain things. But you
and Barnaby.
Well, just Barnaby. I'm never involved. I never show my face. I'm a secret, like the secret magician. That's me, the secret TikToker.
Yeah, okay.
So one of his videos reached, I think, had 450,000 views and had over 170,000 likes on it. And then his next popular, I think, had 120,000 views with 70,000 likes on it. And that's no money being involved whatsoever. This is just literally me shooting them on my iPhone, just have a bit of, just a bit of crack with them.
So a bit of crack shooting Barnaby on your iPhone and sharing it on TikTok has resulted in Barnaby now getting paid.
Yeah, to do videos.
To do videos. And who pays Barnaby?
So we have it set. Well, I set it up smartly, so his contact information will be easily seen. So he has his own email address and everything. He's turning into a diva. He wants extra treats for all the money he's getting and all. Yeah, so we set it up properly, and there's TikTok agencies, just like we're social media agencies. There's dedicated agencies to TikTok, and their clients want popular, influencers almost to share their stuff. So we make a video based on the concepts that they send through.
I'm going to tell you something now. I'm telling you something. I went on to TikTok, and it scared the bejesus out of me, because I heard your story about Barnaby, and I thought, Barnaby, I can do better than that. I'll go on there. I'm Martin Gilchrist. I'll go on and I'll do something cool, and I'll be famous. And I looked at what other people were doing, and it was girls dancing and people jumping off cliffs and people fighting in the streets. And there was all these scary videos. Now, I'm not sure if I had clicked on the wrong link or where I was brought into, but it was crazy.
It's based on your likes, so you must be liking some crazy stuff, Martin.
I didn't like anything. It just appeared. Like, I turned it on, and this stuff. The first thing I seen was two guys punching the head off each other in the street. And I'm like, what the? So I'm not sure. Is it really for a business like an accountancy firm?
There is some businesses that do very well on it. There is the likes of certain like investor companies that do quite well on it. So they share tips on like what to invest in, how they've made their money, and all that stuff. And then there is the ice cream company. Is it Nuglido? Up in Newcastle. I think they have one in Porto. Yeah. So they're doing very well on it as well. I think their videos get hundreds of thousands of likes as well, just because everyone loves food. So there is a right business to use it. It's just learning the right way to kind of use it and not kind of be too corporate. But again, it's that social media thing where you use the right content. Don't just post about your business. Make stuff that's fun and interesting that you want to watch. I always use the story, like if somebody comes into your shop, you don't just go, here's jeans, here's a top. You have a conversation with them. You make them laugh. You make get to know them. You don't just chuck clothes at them.
Yeah, very fair, very fair. Excellent. So, Adrian, back to you. Was it because of Barnaby and his TikTok videos that you came across Kel Dixon, or how did you meet the man, the social media genius that has come up with the Barnaby phenomenon?
It was the digital marketing course I did last October, November, Kel, I think, was it?
Yeah, November, I think.
November time. We'd arranged different modules, and just one week it was Facebook and social media, and Kel came in and took a class. I think it was a class of 8 of us. Did a module and went into the sort of back end of Facebook. There were people there from different businesses, so we'd maybe take a couple of different examples and teach them how to go into Facebook, what to look for, the demographics of Facebook, and how to start looking at targeting ads, and just how the whole thing works, how to grow organically, how to link with Instagram, and just where Facebook fitted in, and then touched on sort of returns. And I couldn't believe how well it could work, because anytime I'd used Facebook previously, even with my last job, we had a group, but it was quite hard getting engagement and getting people interacting on it. And actually, I kind of realized that I didn't really know what I was doing or how to use it properly at all. So yeah, that's how we met that time. And then
the rest is history.
Yeah, the rest is history, to say. Yep.
So, and this is, apologies about this question before I ask it, because I know it's a difficult one to answer when Adrian's sitting there, Kel. But I had highlighted the fact I would ask this question. But forming a business and growing it is like having your own baby and raising it. The investment in time, effort, emotional energy, money, you feel like you own it. You feel the business becomes part of you. It has your personality. The clients know who you are. And it's a difficult thing that when it's an established entity of any size, to bring another person into that. When you looked at Adrian Harrison and you thought, I need this guy in my business, what is it that you've seen in Adrian you thought, that's it, we're going to work together on the big giraffe? What was the values he brought?
Yeah, so bringing somebody in was kind of something I had been thinking about for a while, but as you said, it is your baby. I've grown it from the ground up, so I kind of really wanted to make sure I got the right person in, and that not only that did they have the right skill set, but they also had the right personality. And I think me and Adrian are kind of very similar in personality wise. We have a similar humor, which is very, very important for me, and we get on very well. When I was doing that course, Adrian was kind of asking the right questions. He was clearly interested in what I was saying, which again was quite important. And then his skill sets, he knows a wide range of businesses, but he's also very, very good at sales, and that's something that perhaps I was weak at. Was sales and getting into the networking meetings and being able to professionally talk to people, whereas that's Adrian's skill set is being able to make those connections with people and being able to build a professional bond with people. And that's kind of where I was lacking. And just Adrian reached out and was like, is it something that you're interested in? And I never really looked back. Kind of, we've been working together for now two months now, Adrian, and despite COVID happening, the business has been keeping growing. And I know as soon as COVID is finished, we're going to be we're going to be scaling to where we want to get to. And we mapped out the goals and everything, and we're all interlinked, and we know what we want to do, and we know where we want to take the business.
And Adrian, as you looked at Kel, looked lovingly into his eyes and said, we're going to do this, darling, and I'm sure it didn't go like that, but what is it that you what is it that you've seen in the big job?
I looked directly into the middle of the chest.
Yeah, middle of the chest. I got my tattoo out, and you were able to see the.
Right, okay. We'll leave it at that. Let's not go there anymore.
I should highlight he's 6'8", by the way. That maybe come out wrong, but go on.
Yeah, you need to be careful. Nobody realizes how tall he is when he's sitting down. Okay, what is it that you've seen in the business, and what is it you've seen in Kel that you thought, right, I've got time I want to invest my time, my effort, and my reputation in this business? What is it that you've seen, and what is it that you think you're going to bring to the business that's going to dynamically change it and put it on a different trajectory?
Well, I think from the class, getting in with someone that with Kel's experience from a completely different angle of where I was coming from. Kel was a bit from the agency background and had obviously worked in some really, really good campaigns with reputable companies and done a tremendous job, and obviously knows what he's doing. And to me, as I said, from just an advertising standpoint, to be able to actually go in and actually transform businesses, in terms of how they work, take them from zero right up to brand and beyond, making them whatever money they do, that sort of thing is something that I have been wanting to do for the last number of years, but didn't really know how to, and didn't really know that vehicle was out there. So that was a good fit. And then, yeah, as Kel said, we get on great. He's a Leeds United fan, but apart from that, he's a good lad. And yeah, we get on well. I think we, it's important to see the business from the same angle, and to be able to look at have similar goals. Like we both want to be very successful. I think we both see the opportunity and potential that it has, and I think we sort of work well with different skill sets. And I think we work well together.
Yeah, so there's a nice wee coalescence effectively of skill sets and experience. Kel focuses on the actual social media and the creative design and all that type of stuff. And you're able to go out there and do the hard sales business conversation you can sort of see how that could work very well. So you've got the business, you're working together on stuff. COVID hits, like a car crash, and everybody's sort of floundering about, and nobody knows what's really going on and how serious it's going to be. And one of the pubs have closed, and next thing everything's closed and the streets are empty. What have you guys been doing during COVID? What have you been doing to help other businesses? What have you been doing to make sure that you survive yourselves? And I'll put that to, sorry, Kel, I'll start with Adrian and then come to you.
Yeah, well, it's obviously been a terrible time for a lot of companies. Your heart goes out to, especially to the pubs and restaurants and people that have invested so much time and money into their businesses over the years. At the minute, it's terrible for them. So I think with the COVID, there has become opportunities, and certainly in the land of e-commerce that we're very much in. With the social media, e-commerce comes off that. I think to be able to provide e-commerce platforms for our clients have been good to get them to transition from just being shops and maybe thinking that there's no option but to go out of business, to be able to put them on an e-commerce platform, and then obviously match that up with social media and actually get their business moving online. It's been great. I think there is good opportunity. Obviously, the next 3-6 months are fairly uncertain, but I think we can help companies in that regard continue to grow online, really. So we have been helping them, and hopefully we will continue to.
Kel, before I ask you sort of the same question, I see that there's been a couple more posts that come onto the ball. James Perry, who was at the dinner we had in Belfast, has come on, and he's saying, "Evening, gents." James had an incredibly successful broadcast of his James Perry Presents series last night, where he had one of the characters from Father Ted and other television programs such as Casualty and stuff as well. But that was really great crack. And to some extent, when James does this, he does it somewhat differently. He has it down to a fine team. He is very well produced. He brings in people with particular skill sets and asks them specifically about them, which is somewhat different from my more casual, conversational based interview. But it's a great way to do things as well. And Kenny Galloway, and I think this is because you had talked about the courses that you'd done, Kel, and he asks, and this might maybe you've done some over the COVID period as well. What digital courses did you go on? He says it's an area to upskill on for sure. So how did you learn your stuff, Kel? What since leaving university and the stuff that you did there, what have you studied?
Yeah, so obviously at university, there was small social media elements because I graduated a good few years now though. So social media wasn't as big as it was now. So still, it was kind of in its infancy when I left university. And then obviously when Northern Ireland qualified for the Euros, UEFA was sending everyone down to us to kind of teach us basically all the strategies that everyone uses. So we had, Snapchat CEOs come to us, we had Facebook people come to us and teach us everything. We were over in London, most months just kind of learning from different businesses and, specialists on how we should do different things. And then when I launched my own business, I kind of wanted to learn a lot more. So I've done a lot of courses from Americans. So I've kind of learned from over in America, and me and Adrian are both now doing another course. And we just started it on Friday. So we're learning another course to kind of develop our skills even further, just because I think you never stop learning. When I was at university, I was like, right, great, this is my university. I don't have to learn anything else after this, but it's just not the way. You're always constantly learning. Things are always evolving, and to kind of stay on top of your level, you need to constantly learn things and, learn how to do different ways and how to, achieve your goals.
Yeah, it almost sounds like a practice in the same way that accountancy practice is a practice. You have to continually practice your skill set and upgrade them. In accountancy, there are fundamental rules and principles that never change. You could go back to the creation of accountancy in mercantile Florence in the 1400s, and there'll be rules about double entry that we still use today. But there's also stuff that changes by the hour sometimes. So for example, through the COVID crisis, the rules in relation to furloughing, or the self-employment income support scheme, or the micro business hardship fund, or you got deferring taxes and mortgage holidays, the business bounce back loan scheme. You could just go on and on with the list of stuff that changes all the time, new deadlines fresh application rules and all that type of stuff that you have to constantly keep abreast of. So it almost seems that you're the same. But are there fundamentals that just don't change in social media, Kel? Is there stuff that you, once you have that foundation that's there to build on, or does everything change all the time?
It really depends on the type of business you're running, if that makes sense. Like certain businesses get away with it, like the likes of like clothes business and stuff, that will never change too much. But then there's other businesses like, like online coaching businesses that will change and will differ depending on what you're allowed to say, and kind of the psychology almost around people on social media. I find psychology is another thing I'm really interested in. I like to know how people think, how people's mind works, and that's something that's always evolving. So you kind of have to suit, your social media strategy until, the world around you. Mm-hmm. And that's something that sometimes, people kind of forget to do. They kind of just think a one-size-fit-all campaign will just suit everyone, but you kind of have to make a bespoke campaign to suit individuals or suit, different businesses, because what way my business speaks will be completely different to the way your business speaks, because you have to be that wee bit more professional and be a wee bit more fun and have a wee bit more joke, around things.
One of the things that excites me, I find the whole subject, and that's why I was delighted to get the opportunity to talk to you two guys tonight. I find the whole subject of social media really interesting, partly because it's so innovative and it's all about creativity and coming up with new ideas, and the best idea wins to a certain extent. If you can come up with something that's creative, imaginative, inspiring, inspirational, moving, motivating, whatever, you can really make an impact very quickly at a very low cost. All those things about social media, really, you can change the world. You literally can change the world using social media. Adrian, what excites, and before that, I suppose fundamentally, I overuse the word fundamentally. I realize that. I'm going to have to stop using fundamentally. It's a bit like unprecedented. Unprecedented is one of my favorite words at the moment. I can't wait to go back to when things are just precedented rather than unprecedented. But one of the best things from social media, from my perspective, is exactly what we're doing now. It gives an opportunity for people who, Cal, you and me know each other, but we're not going to each other's christenings or Christmas parties, or you're not inviting me around to your house for a cup of tea. It's not that sort of a relationship, but you will come and have a conversation with me live online about your business. That's the type of conversation, and that only happens because of social media. If social media didn't exist, I don't even know that we would know each other. Wouldn't know each other, and we wouldn't be learning from each other now. That excites me. That really attracts me to social media. Adrian, what excites you about social media? What do you find, if you could pick one thing out of all the great stuff?
Yeah, well, I think I think with social media, it's obvious, but so up to date. It's so, it's constantly evolving and changing, and you're always sort of on the lookout. Kel and I, if we're doing training, for what's next, what's the next big thing, what the people or businesses need to do to get ahead. How do you get ahead of the curve? How do you actually anticipate or get yourself in a competitive edge, or get in a good situation at the minute? And obviously at the minute, videos and company videos and interviews and Facebook groups and all of that is all evolving. So even though Kel's been doing Facebook for so long, what he's going to be doing probably, or what we'll be doing in the next 2 quarters, we've mapped out the next 2 quarters. So it's probably going to be a lot different to anything that he's been doing before. And with campaigns, the new campaigns are different. It's like I've dealt with a lot of different types of companies, and a lot of them operate differently. They'll have different target markets, they'll have different profit margins, different client bases, or marketing will be different. So it's completely different. Campaigns and language and everything is different. So you are always learning as you go along with each campaign. And as I said, there'll be something new out in Christmas, I'm sure we'll be learning about for the first quarter next year. So it's just, and as I say, it is that constant learning that you need to be on top of, and I think as business in general, they do need to be coming from that mindset as well, how are they going to safeguard themselves in the next 3 to 6 months if we do get us, hopefully don't, well, if we do get a second wave, or if things don't pick up economically, it could be tough for businesses. You do see business groups coming on now on Facebook the last couple of weeks. A couple of big companies, especially in Northern Ireland, have come on now, big groups, and it is all about networking and basically how can we help each other. A lot of people are now coming from that mindset of, look, we're in it together, the economy's going to take a hit, but what can we all do together to sort of pull through it? And I think that's where we feel we want to be working with businesses as well, knowing that you will get them results and knowing that you can help them is, that's a good feeling.
Yeah, brilliant. So that's what excites you. Cal, what scares you about social media? Social media can be really scary. You can have trolls, you can have Zoom bombing, you can have media manipulation, you can have fake news, you can have brainwashing. If you were to point out, pick one thing that keeps you awake at night, if you think about it, about social media, as an expert, what scares you about social media?
So I've done talks in schools and things before. I've done stuff on like Facebook marketing and stuff in schools. And one of the things that kind of scares me is the influence that celebrities and Instagram influencers have on people, especially the younger generation. Like if they say they put out products, I've seen that a famous The Only Way is Essex actress, I can't say her name in case we get sued, you always have to be careful of these things. She is claiming all her weight loss is due to these injectable weight loss serums that help you lose weight. Now, whether you believe that or not, it's up to you, but the fact that she has over like 4 million followers, and she's going to influence we young teenagers to try, maybe use these injectables when they don't need to, or the weight loss drinks people are drinking, or the dodgy electronics they're getting from China they're selling. My own fiance, I have to call her now, she bought
Congratulations.
AirPod. Thank you.
Is that a recent thing, and did you get engaged recently?
Yeah, so we literally a week before the coronavirus kicked in, we got engaged and the whole thing locked down. We haven't been able to celebrate properly, but we'll celebrate when it's over.
Congratulations! That's great news. So and well done. I don't know your fiance, but I think I've seen pictures. Is your fiance the girl that's in your profile picture that I shared at the top of the?
Yes. So she is also involved in the business. So she helps a lot with I kind of say the boring stuff. She's very sure, she likes plans and making sure everything is in place, whereas I'm very creative, so I kind of just go off on tangents. So she's the backbone to the business.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. The power of social media to influence people and to affect your biases. So we all have biases. Mm-hmm. Biases are those reactions or traits that get you through the day. Like when you wake up in the morning, you don't think generally, what order will I brush my teeth, have my breakfast, put on my shoes? That all happens automatically because of biases. But we have biases about everything. So when you look at a person, even without them speaking, your biases will make a decision about whether or not you think a person is a threat, whether they're friendly looking. It's a way of not having to work out everything all of the time. And one of the dangers with social media is because it's so immersive and because you get so engaged with the conversations that are going on, that you can get caught up in your own wee bubble or into a social media bubble, which affects your biases in a negative way. So there's a lot of good stuff out there, but there's stuff to be frightened of as well. Guys, we have rattled through 15 minutes here already. I hope I have enjoyed it.
I've enjoyed it too, yeah.
Good.
It's flown like you said it would.
Yeah, now, before I let you go, I want to ask you one more question. Well, and then after that, I'll ask you a final question. But the last question from the series of interviews that I've written down is, what is the future? And obviously, we're talking about in the context of Big Giraffe, but really what I would like you to do is go for the most tied to the real world. Like, don't just go completely mad. But what is the most extravagant, most exciting, if everything works out well and exactly as you planned, Adrian, what is the future for Big Giraffe?
Well, we're going to aim high. I think the future. I think the future's bright. I think, you know, we're both ambitious. I think, where do we see ourselves? You know, we have set out our, as I said, the personal goals for certainly the next 2 quarters of this year, and I think ideally we would like to, you know, in the future we would like to grow a team. We would like to deal with companies worldwide, and as I say, we doing a course and we're sort of in a bit of a collaboration with a company in the States at the minute, actually. But we've, you know, we do see it hopefully going worldwide and getting a team in under us, building a good team ethic, and employing the right team, you know, to go with us, you know.
Yeah, very good. And before going to you, Cal, for the last question, I see David Henderson thinks what you've shared has been really insightful, and he says thank you. And Jenny Irvine says, great to listen into Kel Dixon. So you are people. Some people are listening.
Somebody enjoyed it.
Yeah, they're appreciating that. They're appreciating the conversation. What we'll find is that afterwards, on Thursday night, there will be a watch party on the Gilchrist & Co page, where we get to have the opportunity to actually respond properly to the comments as they're coming through. Mm-hmm. And it's also a great way for people to watch the video and have any questions or comments or shares or links, or even if they want to just share their own website and stuff. Thursday night, this will be replayed and you'll be able to do that again. But thank you for joining us tonight. Kel Dixon, you get the final word on the future. Not the future of Big Giraffe. What's the future of social media? And think big, ambitious. What do you know that we don't?
I think the word you used before, immersive, I think social media will become a lot more immersive in our lives. I think they're kind of rolling out now, the 3D, you know, the virtual reality things. I worked on like a virtual reality video a year and a half ago, I think. And, you know, that the results from that were incredible. But I think eventually, you know, it's going to be like Star Wars, and the holograms going to come out and play all the, you know, the video in front of you. I think really social media now is all about personal connections, and that's going to continue. That's going to always be the case. You know, people don't care about, yes, your product's important, but it's not just your product, it's your business and your brand behind your product. So what are your, you know, your ethics? What are your goals? What do you care about in the community? And getting that across to social media is going to become more and more important, because people are becoming more woke, is the word that everyone's using now. So people are becoming more aware of what a company actually is and not just their product. And that is one thing that will continue going forward for the foreseeable, that you have to have the right ethics, and you have to have the right, you know, beliefs behind your brand for it to be successful on social media.
Yeah, I think you're right. I'm just thinking, who do I know in the world I live in? Not like Elon Musk or Donald Trump, who can convince people to drink bleach using his Twitter account. But who do I know in Northern Ireland that I can meet in the street or ask out for a cup of coffee that I think is doing social media really well? And there's lots of people. James Perry, I mentioned him earlier on. So James Perry Presents is a great series of interviews that he's doing. I think Matthew Thompson, who's not even on social media, but still has a social media profile because people share his interviews. He does a series of podcasts, and he does them very well, and they're getting shared. And Gavin Wall, when he was doing his LinkedIn stuff, really invested in it and seemed to do it really well. Alison McMullen, Alison Matthews, and her virtual VA, I think it is. She does a series of how-tos, which pick up attention. And definitely the guys from Bizmerang are doing an awful lot at the moment. And thank you, I should say thank you to Shane and Guy for allowing me to use their professional version of Zoom to do this live tonight. Adrian, it's not fair that I'm going to surprise you with this, but who do you think in Northern Ireland or who do you see on your feed that when you see their stuff coming through, you think they're actually doing a good job? They're doing that properly.
Who's doing it properly?
Who do you notice?
I was going to say I notice Boozem all the time, but that's just because I love the videos.
But sometimes that's all it's about. You know, sometimes it's just if you love the product, you see them.
Boozem are doing it okay. They're doing it okay. I'm a big fan. I like the videos. I'm a big fan of the videos. Anyone that's doing catchy videos or anything that gets your attention that way. Does seem to be more and more video content at the minute. Raquel's right in saying it's the brand as much as anything, you know.
Yeah.
Whoever's doing the branding and getting the catchy videos right.
Yeah, I think it's a question that I always ask, and it's a very hard question to answer. Like, it was okay for me. I've obviously thought about it and I'd had the opportunity to have an answer before I asked myself the question. But it is, when you say that, who is doing it really well? Just obviously, when the video's turned off, when we're not live anymore, you're going to go away and go, yeah, well, I know 15 people off the top of my head who's doing it. It's just when it's thrown at you that it can be difficult. But
that's maybe because I'm hungry, Martin.
Yeah, we've been talking. You've been questioned for an hour. You've been interrogated here for an hour. We're nearly finished. We're nearly finished, and you can order a Boozem or whatever it is. So the last and the very last word then goes to Kel. And Kel, the question I want to ask you is, having seen the process that goes behind how the Monday night business conversations work, and I know they're far from perfect. They are what they are. You know, they're supposed to be light touch, low level conversations where the people shine through rather than the graphics or the music or the production or anything else. The values in the conversation, everything else is stripped away to absolutely bare basics. Based on that premise, based on what you've seen that I do behind the curtain, as it were, what advice would you give to me or to anyone else that was thinking about doing something like the Monday night business conversations to make that incremental improvement that could drive it on to being something else?
To be honest, you know, I know you said it's bare bones, but that's real. That's what people like to see. You know, if you have too much of overproduction, sometimes it can look a wee bit false and forced. Whereas this is just literally, like, tonight's just been three of us just having a conversation. You know, nothing's forced. It's very relaxed, and you know, we're just talking about business and, like, you know, what we've learned in business. And I think that's very important to kind of get across. You know, business, another issue with social media is that everyone just shares their best life. That makes sense. If you can hear squeaking, that's my dog Barnaby.
That's the famous Barnaby.
The famous Barnaby.
Yeah, that wee squeak there. That's about 150 quid's worth there of Barnaby.
Yeah. I give you that for free, Martin.
Thank you very much.
But no, as I was saying, you know, like, the brand is important, and kind of getting, you know, your stories. And social media, everyone just shares their best life, and you know, everyone knows in business you're not always up in the top of the roller coaster. You know, sometimes you're down here, you know, and it's important to kind of share that. Jeff Gates, I met him at your networking meeting.
Oh, yes.
You know, he's very good. He's very good at sharing his personal stories on social media. I like to read them. You know, he's very honest about, you know, his up and downs in life and things. And I think getting that across in these kind of, you know, interviews and things is very important to kind of show the human side, and kind of, you know, not everyone's up on a pedestal. Everyone's kind of, you know, everyone's faced the same, you know, the same lows, but we also, you know, we help each other, and that's, you know, what networking is about. And you know, I know you, Martin, can get a room full of people in the drop of a hat because you've got so many connections now, but that is what it's all about, you know, making connections and helping people. That's one of the main things I got into business, was to help people. And today, like, a woman said she was thinking of closing her business down 2 months ago, and now, you know, she's more than happy to keep it up. And that's that's what we want. That's what we want to hear more of. We want to help more businesses, and we want to, because you said it's someone's baby. You know, at the end of the day, you know, yes, we're all in business to make money, but if we can help other businesses achieve their goals, then, you know, that's, you know, the real win for me. You know.
And there's real value in that. I sort of wonder when you said that I could fill a room in a drop of a hat. I wonder if I could get £150,000 worth of sales over 3 months using Facebook. Would I rather do that than fill a room full of people eating my drink or eating my food and drinking my drink? which is a different thing altogether. I'll maybe have to reassess about where my priorities are in this Facebook thing. Okay, guys, thank you. From the bottom of my heart, I genuinely, and I hope it comes across as authentically, entirely grateful for your time this evening. Everybody that comes onto these interviews doesn't know where it's going to go or how it's going to turn out. I think tonight has been great. I genuinely have enjoyed the conversation, but there's also been a lot of very useful information, which has been appreciated by the people that have come onto the feed tonight and have seen the video. So thank you for your time. Thank you for your trust in me that this wouldn't go disastrously wrong, because this is my first time actually using the Facebook live feed connected to a Zoom call. And thank you for your honesty and your frankness and your input this evening. It has been incredibly interesting. And before I close off the Facebook video, one last chance. Adrian, is there anything else that you want to say before we go? I should have raised.
No, I think we covered everything, Martin. Thanks very much for having us on. It was good to chat. Brilliant. And you know, like we do, you know, chatting with local businesses and bringing businesses and business people together. You know, especially at the minute, it's a tough time for a lot of people, and I think it's just good that the whole sort of community in Northern Ireland does seem to be rallying together. You know, and reaching out to each other in the likes of social media. So it is good from that point of view. So thanks very much.
Yeah, I'll make sure that the Big Giraffe feed our website, and if you're happy for that us to do so, the LinkedIn links are posted to the feed here afterwards, so that anybody who's watching this either now or afterwards can get in touch with you guys. And I would strongly recommend reaching out to both Adrian and Kel, both of you guys. I know, Kel, anything, telephone number?
Yeah, so as we said, we're really looking, Northern Ireland's a great place to network, so we're literally just trying to, you know, connect with as many businesses as we can. So as you said, reach out to us on LinkedIn, add us on Facebook, or, you know, send us any questions you have. We'll be more than happy to help. You know, we're just trying to help people as well as most as we can. So just connect. We'll be happy to help. And again, as Adrian said, you know, you're doing a great thing yourself, Martin. You know, you're helping businesses get out there. You're helping us. You know, you're pushing us on your own platform, which you didn't have to do. You know, so again, we really appreciate everything.
We had at least 6 people watch tonight, so like, you're famous. So you're very welcome. You're very welcome. Okay, that is the end of the interview tonight on Facebook. It's the end of the Monday live conversations. As they say on BBC, you know, when they finish the news and they say we're now passing over to the local studio. This is anybody who's watching us live on Facebook. Thank you very much for your time this evening. If you have enjoyed the conversation and you think, you know what, I've got a story to tell. I have something that I want to tell Martin Gilchrist about my business. And I don't have a squeaky dog that earns £150 an hour or £10,000 for a presentation. Give me a shout. We want to have you on here. This isn't about, not that Kel and Adrian aren't the great and the good. They're good and great, honestly. But you don't have to be super famous. It's just us. It's just people like you and me getting together and telling stories, and you never know how useful or interesting or where your story can lead to. It really can be one of the most powerful things you can do is tell your story. So to everybody on Facebook, thank you very much. We will see you next Monday, and I'm going to switch off here. Goodbye, guys. By the way, when I turn off Facebook, don't be going away. Don't be turning off. We'll still be going on Zoom, so I'll catch you on there. But I'm going to end the Facebook live feed now. Okay, so we are off the Facebook live. You might actually still see it on the screen there because there's a little bit of a lag, but it will be coming off. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop the recording here as